Welcome to Self-Talk Show Podcast, the show that brings you fascinating conversations with thought leaders, innovators, and trailblazers in the world of technology, business, and beyond. I'm your host, Mithali Ohri, and in today's episode, we have the pleasure of diving into the captivating world of blockchain and cryptocurrencies with a remarkable guest. Joining us today is Lea Thompson, a true powerhouse in the tech industry and a passionate advocate for blockchain adoption. Lea is not only a seasoned brand marketing and sales professional, but she's also known as Girl Gone Crypto for her remarkable ability to simplify complex topics like crypto and make them accessible to a broad audience. Her unique talent has caught the attention of major publications such as Yahoo Finance, Business Insider, Blockchain Magazine, and Crypto News. Lea's unwavering commitment to changing the conversation surrounding blockchain technology has earned her a reputation for being a leading voice in the field. With her expertise in video content and her belief in the power of connection, she has been instrumental in helping blockchain brands increase their impact through engaging in educational videos. In this episode, we'll dwell into Lea's journey of transitioning from the tech industry to becoming a crypto enthusiast, her insights on making blockchain more approachable to everyday users, and the strategies she employs to navigate the ever-evolving crypto market. Without further ado, let's welcome Lea Thompson, the Girl Gone Crypto, to Self-Talk Show. Get ready to be inspired and gain valuable insights into the world of crypto as we embark on this captivating conversation. Lea, thank you so much for joining us today. We are thrilled to have you here. So Lea, you started as brand marketing and sales professional in the tech industry before becoming a crypto nerd. What drew you to the world of cryptocurrencies and made you so passionate about it?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate you guys having me on. So how I got involved in crypto is actually a really strange story that involves a ukulele. So as you mentioned, I was working in the tech industry before, and I kind of hit this point where I realized that I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to keep kind of working up the corporate ladder, so to speak. And so at that time, we're talking about kind of early 2017 timeframe here. I started doing various different side hustles. Like I was reselling designer bags and trying to do all sorts of different things, just seeing what would stick and honestly having a lot of fun with it with, kind of various levels of success. Nothing that was ever going to let me totally leave my job, but, learning a lot of lessons along the way. And a friend of mine was like, hey, I have something that you might find kind of interesting. And he kind of tried to tell me about crypto before, and I just thought it was this super nerdy thing and didn't really pay much attention to. But he was like, there's this website that is like a blogging platform for crypto, and you can actually earn cryptocurrency for blogging. Like maybe you should check it out. I know you're doing some different, kind of earning side income type things. And so anyway, gave it a shot, and I had never made content before, had never blogged, and never done anything. And it was really a lot of fun. And I started to build a following on that website. And the great thing is you didn't have to necessarily blog or make videos about crypto. It was really kind of a community almost of artists and creatives just doing a lot of different things. The platform was called Steam It for anyone that is kind of OG crypto in the space that remembers that from way back in the day. But it was really interesting because I started making videos, just like ukulele covers. And trust me when I say I'm really not even that good. Like there wasn't a lot of people, I think, doing stuff like that. So again, I just kind of kept growing and earning crypto. And it was just kind of this interesting unfolding of events where I actually started getting asked to speak at crypto conferences really all over the world. And at first I was like, but why? I don't even make content about crypto. I'm just, here with my ukulele. And they're like, no, we think your story of how you're earning crypto with your ukulele is interesting. So anyway, I started traveling and going on these different events and got to meet people in the industry. And it really, I think, kind of was just super inspiring to see these people that were so passionate about this new technology, this new, form of money, this new monetary policy, essentially, that was being built around Bitcoin and crypto. And it really got me excited and made me want to work full-time in this industry as well. And I think what was really interesting too about that experience is with earning crypto here and there, on this blogging platform, is it kind of forced me to learn how to use it, right? Now that I had some in my hand, I'm like, well, why is this actually worth anything? And what can I do with it? And, how do I open an exchange account and send it? All of these different, down the rabbit hole kind of things that you have to kind of reckon with when you actually have some crypto in your hands. And so it was this really kind of cool learning experience where I just got to kind of play around with it all and learn more on my own terms. And then in 2019, I'd, been really just kind of using crypto for a few years at that point. I decided to launch a crypto related channel called Girl Gone Crypto, and that's honestly what I've been kind of doing ever since.
That sounds incredibly fascinating. Engaging with individuals who share a passion for cryptocurrencies can truly expand one's perspective on its potential applications. We are curious to know the story behind Girl Gone Crypto. How did this persona come about, and what inspired you to take on this identity?
So the name Girl Gone Crypto, to be honest, when I first started my channel, I just put my name, Lea Thompson, and a friend of mine was like, people, when they come across your account, they might not know if it's a personal account or if you're actually making crypto content. You should choose a crypto-related name. And so anyway, I chose that for no particular reason, except I thought it seemed kind of cheeky and fun and just kind of rolled with it. And I still really like it a few years later, so I guess that's a good sign.
Well, it suits you. One of your core beliefs is changing the conversation around blockchain technology to make it more approachable for everyday users. With that in mind, when it comes to simplifying complex crypto topics and making blockchain technology more accessible, how do you approach this challenge? And in your efforts to foster wider adoption of blockchain, how do you leverage the power of video content?
So, to be honest, this is what I really am most passionate about and why I do what I do and why I make the content that I do. Because I know back in 2017, when I was first getting into crypto, it was incredibly intimidating. I'm not saying that it isn't anymore, because it certainly still can feel that way. But there was really not a lot of just concise, helpful, educational content. A lot of the tutorials and things that I was looking up, trying to figure out how to do all of this, were, very technical videos or an hour-long live stream of this guy that I'm like, I don't even know what he's saying. When you turn on a beginner video and it's all of these words that you don't even know, a peer-to-peer decentralized monetary policy, and all of these different things, you're like, what does this even mean? I was like, okay, there's clearly a need to break this down in a simpler way that feels more approachable. And so my whole goal with making content is that if someone is new or they feel maybe a little bit overwhelmed or a little intimidated, hopefully they come across my content and are like, okay, well, if this girl can do it, then, I can probably do it. And it feels more like a place that's meant for them as well. They're like, okay, this girl maybe looks like someone I would be friends with, I would hang out with, she's doing it, maybe we can do this too. And so, again, it's just really my goal to help people realize it's really not as hard as they think. It can seem like this kind of overwhelming, intimidating thing to figure out, because there really are so many facets to it. Bitcoin and crypto, and then there's blockchain technology, and then what about NFTs, and what about all these other things? And there's so many different layers and components, but when it comes down to it, it's really not that hard to get started, and the tools have evolved so much more than back in 2017 when I was first learning. They're way more user-friendly. There's just, I really think that a lot of people that feel intimidated by it could very quickly kind of get up to speed if that was something they wanted to. And so I hope that if anything that people take away from any of my videos, it's just that feeling of empowerment where they're like, okay, maybe I can do this too.
I completely agree on that. Could you tell us more about your corporate video training program for tech companies and how it helps strengthen partner relations and increase sales? what were some key strategies or approaches you employed to achieve those results?
Okay, so this is just kind of a fun story, but I was working for this tech company, and they were spending so much time and money sending sales reps out into these stores to do in-person training with the different pieces of equipment. And I think that's great. There was a high level of customer service involved in that, which is excellent. But, I mean, you're having these sales reps drive all over their territories, in stores maybe had questions, and it would be a few weeks till they could get a rep in the store to help. It was kind of this, it seemed like there was a bit of a bottleneck in terms of the human capacity to go service these customers. And so at that point in time, I had, started making the videos for that Steemit platform. And again, they were just kind of ukulele covers, but I'd been learning about how to make and edit and film videos and do all of this stuff on my own. And so I approached our, VP of sales and was like, hey, what if I made a video, a whole series of training videos on our equipment that if stores maybe had a quick question, they could reference that instead of having to wait for a rep to come in. Or maybe we could have these stores watch that in advance before the rep comes in, so that hopefully the rep's time is maybe even more impactful because some of their really initial questions have already been covered. And so anyway, it turned out to be just a really helpful thing for everyone involved. And so, yeah, that was just kind of a fun little project that I did, and really opened my eyes again, as I was learning more about the power of video. That was kind of one more step in my journey in that front.
That's amazing. It's fascinating that you were featured in a Super Bowl 2020 commercial. Could you share a bit about that experience and how it came about? What impact did that exposure have on your personal brand and the work you do in the crypto space?
Okay, the Super Bowl 2020 thing is so weird. I still sometimes am like, did that really happen? That's so bizarre. So what's really funny is that I was approached by a media agency that was putting together some content for a Super Bowl commercial. So if you guys remember the Discover ad commercials, the yes and no campaign, you may have seen it back in 2020 because they were putting it everywhere, but they had one commercial with a bunch of different either viral clips from the internet or famous lines from movies or something with people saying yes, and then the other commercial was a similar setup but with people saying no. And anyway, I don't know how this media agency found me, but my sister and I, we were running this kind of talk show on Steemit, this crypto blogging platform that I've mentioned, and we had this moment in one of our shows, it was so casual. We would literally drink wine and just talk for 20 minutes every week and publish it to this crypto. It was really chill. But we had this moment where we both said yes. And I still to this day do not know how they found that. It seems so crazy to me, but they did. And they licensed that 1 second clip from that video, and it ended up in a Super Bowl commercial. And in terms of the impact of my brand and things like that, I wouldn't actually say it had much impact, because it wasn't like they were saying, here's Lea Thompson, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't my name. It was just this random moment, but it was definitely a fun moment in my life. I don't think I've ever seen my phone blow up in the same way that I've had that moment. Every single person I swear I've ever met in my entire life, all of my followers in DM, every old coworker, it just was suddenly did I just see you on a Super Bowl commercial? So, my favorite was, it was in the fourth quarter, and quite a few of the texts were okay, so I've had a few drinks. I'm not sure if I'm seeing things. What? So anyway, just kind of a fun little fact.
Wow, that is super cool. Connection and relations are important aspects of your work. How do you leverage the power of connecting both online and offline to create engaging content that brings people together while educating and entertaining them?
Yes, absolutely. Connections, relationships. It's not unique to the crypto industry. That is true of really any industry, any job, any hobby, anything you do. The people that you meet and the connections that you make are so much of it. And I think that on a content creation standpoint, there can be this kind of different people take different approaches to how they maybe engage with their audience, and I love it. I think that what's really cool is you kind of get to know your regulars, if you will. Like, the people that are like, they're your diehards, they're there commenting on everything. And honestly, like, in a way, you kind of get to know them because maybe you follow them back and you start to see their content and the things that they're saying. And you start to build these kind of like relationships with people that are viewing your content. And I really enjoy that aspect of it. And then on the kind of more like, just relationship in the industry side of things, I definitely think that like attending events and conferences and getting to hang out with people in real life is one of the most, satisfying and fun things because, when you're behind your computer all day at home, making content or, just trying to keep up on the news of what's happening in crypto and just kind of staying up to date with everything because it's such a fast moving industry, it can feel, I don't want to say lonely, but, sometimes you forget that there are so many just really cool, brilliant minds working in this industry. And so I always feel really inspired coming back from conferences because, I had a chance to interact with these people and kind of get that, again, that like re-inspiration of like why we're all here and why we're all doing this. And again, I'm a social person. And so like for me, getting to go hang out and spend time with people in person is always going to be preferred.
Right. Balancing your adventurous pursuits like backpacking, fly fishing, and pack rafting with your work in the tech and crypto industries can be quite a juggling act. How do you manage to find harmony between your outdoor exploration and your professional endeavors? Are there any lessons or mindsets you have gained from your outdoor experiences that have positively influenced your entrepreneurial success in the tech and crypto space?
I think this is important for anyone, whether you're an entrepreneur, no matter what industry you work in, whether you work for a company, like no matter what you do, obviously having balance in life is super, super important. And I know you mentioned some of the fun, like outdoor stuff. Honestly, my favorite obsession right now is pickleball. I'm sure there's probably a few people in your audience that can relate to that. It's so much fun. But yeah, I think that honestly, being active is like probably one of my biggest, passion seems like a kind of generic word, but if I spend a lot of time like working out and being active and getting outside and getting fresh air and getting sunshine. And I think that honestly, I do that large in part, not just for my physical health, but my mental and emotional as well. Like I think that especially when you do work in an industry that is so fast paced, there's so much going on, it can be kind of like overwhelming and stressful sometimes. I think that the body really needs that kind of like reset where you get your mind off of everything and you go and you focus on your workout and your breathing. And that's actually one of my favorite things about doing things that are really active, like pack rafting or even just like a strength workout or something. Like your mind has to fully focus on the task at hand. Like when you're holding heavy weights, like you can't be thinking about other things. You need to focus on that. Make sure you don't drop it. When you're in a river and you're paddling through rapids, there is no room in your brain to just be wandering off. You need to focus on what you're doing. And I think that that's just so good as like a little like reset for your whole like internal rhythm, to be able to then come back to your work at kind of a calmer, and just kind of more balanced feeling.
As an internationally certified barista, you clearly have a love for specialty coffee. Do you see any interesting connections or parallels between the coffee industry and the blockchain or crypto industry?
I love all the fun facts that you're drawing out from my past. This is great. So yes, I'm a certified coffee snob, to be more precise. So yeah, before I worked in the tech industry, I was working as a barista, and actually it was a really kind of fun story of how that came about. I was a store manager for a coffee shop, and one of my regulars was actually on the executive team at the tech company I started working for, and him and his wife would always come through every morning, and we just got to know each other. And one day he was like, I don't have any job openings, but I want to hire you. So he created a job for me, and I ended up working at that company for like 8 years. So it turned out really great. It was kind of like a fun evolution of things. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, I don't know that there's any like direct parallels between coffee and crypto, except that, you probably need a lot of coffee if you work in crypto. But no, I love coffee, and it's funny. I think there's always that joke, right? Like, oh, make your coffee at home to save money. rich people are always joking, you could be rich too if you just saved on your Starbucks. And it's funny, I do make my coffee at home, but it's actually not even to save money. It's because I think I make my coffee better. So back to that coffee snob thing. But no, yeah, it's fun.
That definitely sounds fun. Given your experience attending various crypto conferences worldwide, what are some of the most memorable moments or key takeaways you have had from these events? How have they contributed to your growth as a professional and your passion for blockchain adoption?
I guess I kind of jumped the gun on this one talking about conferences earlier, but yeah, I really think, and again, no matter what industry you work in, I think that getting to connect with people in person is hugely important, just for not just building relationships, but for just, again, like kind of rebalancing that like motivation, that reason that like, okay, this is why I'm here. Also just getting ideas. Like when you do, like, let's say a Zoom call with someone, you might talk with them for like, 15, 20, 30 minutes, depending on how long your call is. And that can be a really nice way to connect with people. But when you're in person at an event and you end up talking for like an hour or two, like you just have this like spaciousness within the conversation where you explore all sorts of different topics and things. And that, I think, can be really, kind of eye-opening in terms of maybe giving you ideas. Like, especially if you're feeling stagnant in whatever you're doing, or you're feeling kind of like a little stuck or not creative, like just getting out and talking with people at events might, re-inspire you more than you even think. And so, yeah, I think it's really a fun thing to do. And I think that also, like, you never know what situations are going to unfold. Like, you can meet someone that totally changes the trajectory of your life, and you never know when those moments in your life are going to happen. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about life, is that you never know what decision or person you meet might actually just change everything. And I think that's pretty cool.
True. Finally, looking ahead, what are your future aspirations in the blockchain and crypto space? Are there any specific projects or goals you're currently pursuing, or areas you would like to explore further to continue promoting blockchain adoption through video content?
No, this is a great question. And so in terms of like just my own personal aspirations and, where I'm kind of looking to go from here, is I really want to double down on doing more educational content that, again, really helps that person when they're first looking into things and being like, I don't know if this is for me, I feel overwhelmed, what does any of this mean? And to really make sure that that person feels supported and feels like, yes, this is something they can tackle. Yes, this place is for them. I strongly believe that crypto is for everyone. And so, I have a 2-minute explainer series, and so I really want to keep adding to that. I'm currently working on a beginner's crypto guide that I haven't published yet, but I'm working on. And so I think really my next step is just, again, like making sure that those people have the resources they need. Because when I look across the crypto industry, there are tons of beginner tutorials and, educational series and blog posts and things. And again, like when you start watching them and reading them, they kick off with all of these big industry-specific terms, that I think feel kind of overwhelming. So I think that there's a really big need for true foundational materials, and so I'm excited to keep working on that and keep it fun, keep it light, make sure that it's, we got a little comedic relief in there, we're having some fun with it too. So that's really my goal. And like, honestly, the industry, like I've said kind of along this interview, is really just moving so quickly, and there's so many different adaptations of what this technology can do that we don't even know what the next phases of crypto might look like. We had the huge boom of DeFi, which is decentralized finance. We've had NFTs. We've had all these different, kind of like layerings of the technology where people are using it in different ways, and there's so much potential that I'm just excited to be part of it, be at the forefront of, helping people to understand what's going on. And so I really appreciate all of you for listening to this recording. I hope that if you're even a little bit interested in crypto, that encourages you that yes, you can get started. It's really not that hard. You got this. I think that it's such an exciting industry to be part of, and so I would definitely encourage anyone who is interested just to kind of continue along in that journey. And I just want to thank you guys again so much for having me on the show.
And that brings us to the end of this captivating episode with Lea Thompson, the girl gone crypto. We are truly grateful for her expertise and passion for making blockchain technology approachable. So before we wrap up, let's wish Lea all the best for her future endeavors. Thank you, Lea, for sharing your knowledge and being an incredible guest on my show. Now, to my beautiful listeners, I encourage you to follow Lea and continue learning about the exciting world of crypto. You can connect with me through social media or by emailing me at showselftalk@gmail.com. You can also find more episodes and updates on my website at www.selftalkshow.com. Stay tuned for more fascinating conversation and inspiring stories on Self Talk Show. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.